All right, thanks, Johnson. Federal lawmakers are in the middle of their late summer recess, but when they return to Washington, they have a lot to get to.
That's happening in about 2 weeks, and this morning we are joined by Republican Congressman Sean Duffy. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem. We're going to start with a big issue right now, immigration reform. The White House is arguing that a path to citizenship would add 11 million taxpayers to our economy and force all employers to pay at least minimum wage. You and several other members of the GOP are spoken out against the Senate's plan on this. Tell me why that is.
First of all, that's right. The Senate bill is dead on arrival in the House. We're not going to take it up. And the House is going to work its will. We're going to bring immigration and reform through the House in a step-by-step approach. First off, we're going to have actual border security. We've been talking about this for 20 years. It hasn't happened. We're truly going to secure the borders so we know who's coming in and out of our country. When that happens, then we can look to the 11 million people who are here who've come without documentation. And for those 11 million people, we're not going to round them up and send them home. We're going to allow them to stay. I mean, you can't make that happen. But how do you let them stay? Do you let them stay as citizens or just as a legal status? And so what we're going to do is say, listen, you're not going to get a special pathway to citizenship. You're not going to get special treatment. If you want to be a citizen, you can apply. You can go to the back of the line behind everyone else who's applied before you. We think that's a fair system. But we're going to give you a legal status so you can come out of the shadows. You can work. You can pay your taxes. You can travel. But you're not going to have the citizenship like the president wants. But you get to stay in the country. You're not going to be arrested in the middle of the night. We think this is a fair system that's going to work for everyone in the country. Not only that, we have to have a visa program that works so we can bring in low-skill and high-skill labor to meet the demands of our economy. It's this kind of reform that I think we can get done in the House, and I think the president and the Senate will get behind that kind of reform. He wants citizenship. That's not going to happen in the House, but we can offer a legal status.
Do you think you'll eventually be able to come to a comprehensive plan that everyone can agree on?
Well, comprehensive is a funky term. I'll say we're going to go step by step. We're going to do border security, and we're going to go through all the steps, and we might then repackage all of these bills. But we're not going to take one massive bill and try to jam it through to the Senate.
Okay.
We're going to go step by step, send it over to the Senate, and I think we can actually get a deal done. But it's not going to look like the Senate bill. It's going to be a House version. And I think we have to do immigration reform. But I think it has to work for everybody. It has to be fair for those who've come without documentation, but also those who've applied to become citizens here and have done it through the right process.
Yeah. One of the other things we want to talk about is the Affordable Care Act, and you know, the plan there to give small businesses some tax credits, give them a chance of more competitive premiums. There's small business health insurance options like you know, program marketplaces. So it all sounds good, but is there any potential downsides to this?
Well, first, it all sounds good. We were sold a lot of wonderful benefits of Obamacare. We were told we had we have to pass it so we find out what's in it, and it was a one-party approach to health care reform. What we're seeing now, though, is health care premiums are going up for our Wisconsin families. We've seen some tweaks in the bill that encourage employers to take people off full-time employment and move them to part-time employment at a time when it's really hard for people to make ends meet, or one of their family members have lost a job. So there's some things in this health care reform that really aren't working for Wisconsin families, and especially our families who are having tough times. Increased costs. I think we're going to see decreased access. So what we're trying to do is reform the health care legislation, repeal and replace it, or a straight-up repeal and start over with a new replacement. But the bottom line is this isn't working for our families. 60% of Americans don't like it. It hasn't gotten more popular because of all the goodies or all the great things that were supposed to be in it. It's gotten less popular because those things haven't come to pass.
We're going to close this morning. You're a member of the problem solvers, 80 lawmakers from both sides of the aisle that are trying to make some progress together in Congress. When you guys get back together,
we need progress in
we're hoping so. When you guys do get back together after the Labor Day holiday, is there any legislation that we should be on the lookout for?
So we take a step back and we look at there's so much dysfunction in Washington. There's all of this fighting, and people don't work together. And so what we've done is taken 80 of us, and we're going to try to grow that group where we can work on some common sense, middle-of-the-road ideas that both parties can buy into and move them through. And some of them aren't earth-shattering, but it's a starting approach where you can say, let's at least find some ideas that we can start working on. And there's such a lack of trust. People beat each other up on cable news channels every single night. Let's build trust with one another. Let's try to get ideas that we can pass and move through Congress. And we'll start small, and we'll move up and get bigger and better ideas, and actually hopefully see our government work. I'm proud to be part of a process that's actually seen Washington start to work a little bit better.
And that's exactly what we're all hoping to see, everyone work a little bit better together and you know, get some more traction. Congressman Duffy, we certainly appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back.